Good morning, boys and girls. It is such a beautiful day here. I wanted to start today with a song. So if you know the song, sing it with me. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, won't you please shine down on me? Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, hiding behind those trees. These little children are asking you to please come out so they can play with you. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, won't you please shine down on me? And I hope the sun shines down on you. The book today is called The Scardy Cats by Barbara Botner. The Scardy Cats. Oh my goodness. Let's see what they're scared about. The Scardy Cats. There they are, the Scardy Cats. There we go. Mr. and Mrs. Scardy Cat woke up and shivering. There they are, shivering. It's so cold, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat, but I'm scared of closing the window. It may fall on my fingers. They will turn blue. I see what you mean. You have to be careful, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. All kinds of things can happen. So Mr. and Mrs. Scaredy Cat shivered all morning long. Let us wake up baby Scaredy Cat, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. You wake her, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. If I wake her up, she may be too surprised. I'm scared she will jump out of bed and knock me over. I see what you mean, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. So they let baby Scaredy Cat sleep, and they were scared and cold. The sun came up and shone right into baby Scaredy Cat's eyes, and she woke up. Let me find my new dress, she said. It is so pretty and clean. But if you wear it, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat, it might get a stain that will not come out. So baby Scaredy Cat stayed in her pajamas. The Scaredy Cats went into the kitchen for breakfast. I would like eggs, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. But when I cook the eggs, the pan gets so hot. Too hot, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. I'm scared I will burn myself. I understand, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. You have to be careful. All kinds of things can happen. Perhaps we should go into town for breakfast, said baby Scaredy Cat. That would be lovely, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. But then we have to go inside the car, and the car goes so fast, and when it goes very fast, I'm scared. So I don't think that is such a good idea. So the Scaredy Cats were scared and cold and hungry. I know, said baby Scaredy Cat. We could play. You could bounce me in the air and catch me on my way down. Baby Scaredy Cat said, Mr. Scaredy Cat, what if I throw you so high that I cannot catch you? I would worry and worry. So the Scaredy Cats sat around without anything to do. Now they were scared and cold and hungry and bored. There was a knock at the door. Who is it? Asked the Scaredy Cats. It is the postman, said the voice. What do you want? Asked Mr. Scaredy Cat. I have a package for the Scaredy Cats, he said. The Scaredy Cats looked at each other. This is so exciting, said baby Scaredy Cat. Maybe it's a dress, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Or candied apples, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. Or toys, said baby Scaredy Cat. what if the package is packed with foam and it flies all over the living room? Said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Then I will be mad. Or what if the package has shoes instead of candied apples? Said Mr. Scaredy Cat. Then I will be mad. And what if the package is full of toys that are broken? Said Mr. and Mrs. Scaredy Cats to the baby Scaredy Cat. Then you'll be mad too. Mr. and Mrs. Scaredy Cat told the postman, keep his package. So now the Scaredy Cats were scared and cold and hungry and bored and mad. Mr. Scaredy Cat opened a book. Will you please read to us? Asked baby Scaredy Cat. But what if I do not like the story? Said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Or what if it goes on too long? What if I get too tired to keep going? Said Mr. Scaredy Cat. Better not to begin. I understand, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. You have to be careful. All kinds of things can happen. So now the Scaredy Cats were scared and cold and hungry and bored and mad and disappointed. The telephone rang. Who could it be? Said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Could it be Grandpa? Said baby Scaredy Cat. Or Grandma? It could be, said Mr. Scaredy Cat, but what if it's not? What if it's the landlord and he wants the rent? He will yell at us, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. So they did not pick up the phone. Now the Scaredy Cats were scared and cold and hungry and bored and mad and disappointed and worried. Since there was nothing to do, the Scaredy Cats sat together, doing nothing until the sun went down. I love sunsets, said baby Scaredy Cat. Let's all go outside and watch. But what if the sun is too bright? Said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. It hurts my eyes. And what if it takes too long and I fall asleep? Said Mr. Scaredy Cat. So now the Scaredy Cats were scared and cold and hungry and bored and mad and disappointed and worried and left out. It's bedtime, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Time to say goodnight. It may be bedtime, said Mr. Scaredy Cat, but what if I can't fall asleep? Or what if I have a bad dream? What if I stay up and worry, said baby Scaredy Cat. I will worry tomorrow. I will be scared and cold and hungry and bored and mad and disappointed and worried and left out and tired, just like today. Oh no, what can we do? Asked Mrs. Scaredy Cat and Mr. Scaredy Cat. Mama, Papa, said baby Scaredy Cat, I know we have to be careful, but if all kinds of things can happen, can good things happen too? Well, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. Well, said Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Well, said baby Scaredy Cat. Well, maybe, said Mr. and Mrs. Scaredy Cat. Then tomorrow we could get the package from the postman and I will untie the ribbons, said baby Scaredy Cat. Well, if you untie the ribbons, perhaps I could open it up, said Mr. Scaredy Cat. Well, if you open it up, I suppose I could see what's inside. Oh, baby Scaredy Cat, what a clever baby you are. And without thinking, Mama Scaredy Cat yawned. And a yawn is a hard thing to resist. So the Scaredy Cats fell asleep. And one by one, each dreamed of being brave tomorrow. Well, I hope today you're going to do some fun things and eat something wonderful and play with toys that you love and even hear a good story. So I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.